Listen here, when we apply this practice that we're going to talk about today, we will all grow in leaps and bounds. What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal. Some people call me Lil Baller. I'm your results and transformation coach, and I'm super excited to be here. And today, y'all, today is day 3 of 21. So listen, before we move any further, if you have not done so already, make sure you go back and listen to day 1 and listen to day 2. Today is day 3. When you take these principles every day, I promise you, and apply them, you're going to walk into 2025 not knowing who you are, or shall I say, not recognizing yourself. So I know that I'm fired up about it, but we've been diving in to 21 days of letting go. Daily practices for trusting God's timing. I think today's practice all of us can relate to. I know this is heavy on me, and I've been working on it. I've been working on it. When we work on ourselves, we get to become a better version of ourselves. We start to believe in ourselves a little bit more. But I don't know about you, but for me, this girl right here got to stay like connected and talking to the Lord, because I promise those birds will fly over your head the moment you think you're doing amazing, and the moment you think you're on the right track and doing what you're supposed to be doing. There's always going to be those limiting beliefs, aka, let me say that better, self-doubts that's going to fly over your head and tell you that you're not good enough, you're not worth it. And today's principle is simply that: letting go, self-doubt, just releasing it. So I don't know if it's a challenge for you or not, but I got a couple scriptures that's definitely going to help us. And we're only on day 3, y'all. We got 18 more days to go. So I've been fired up. I also want to enroll you guys in like getting some index cards. Order them from Amazon. That's the cheapest. I went to the store today and I was like $6 for some index cards. Good Lord. But okay, I digress. However, if you take these scriptures and read them over and over again, so I decided to get some index cards. We used to do these things called memory verses, where you would read the scripture over and over and over again and commit it to your memory. Man, those were the times, you do things. It was a challenge because you had literally a memory verse every single week. I keep thinking that if I would have never stopped, how many scriptures would I have memorized right now? But it's also like what the scripture means. So you get to go deep into it and study it. But like I said, at the end of these 21 days, y'all, you will have 63 that you can powerfully pull out whenever you are challenged in any of these 21 areas that we are talking about. So for today, we are talking about releasing self-doubt. And our first scripture is from Philippians chapter 4, verse 16. And this is one of my favorites. And again, it sounds so profound, but we have to know that, when you read this, that these words are real. It's just not like a cliche. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? That sounds so powerful. But whether or not we believe it is going to show up in our action. So when we talk about self-doubt, the birds are going to come and you get to tell yourself. Philippians 4:16. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Remember where your strength come from, where your help come from. These are, it work, and when you do a thing that work, you got to keep on doing it. I got a story for everything. Speaking of story for everything, and I'll probably tomorrow I'll drop the link. We're gonna get back to our celestial morning. Some of you ladies that are listening may have been a part of it. Some of you may not have. But for a year and a half, Monday through Friday, we got on a Zoom call. We had prayer, we had devotional, and then we had testimony, like 30 minutes, because some people had to get off and go to work. So I was like, you know what? I'm putting it all back together. And when we did it, like, it was very empowering. Like when you start your morning off, praying and just releasing anything that is heavy. And when you do that with other believers and other people that are praying for you, like, I think that's the best thing ever. So you probably like, Crystal, you have a lot of things that you think is the best thing ever, as I hear myself say that, but really it was phenomenal. So we're going to get back to that. We might not do 5 days a week, but I said for sure we're definitely going to do 1 day a week. I'm putting our community together, ladies. We talk about total transformation, mind, body, and soul, and really looking to support everybody in all of those areas. Like, all we got to do is lock in and be committed to becoming 1% better every day. And I promise you, by the end of 2025, I want you to look in your mirror right? And not recognize the person that you see because you've grown so much. It's possible if you believe and then if you take action. Because, it's one thing to want to do it, it's another thing to actually take this on. Even when I talk about writing down the scriptures, it's going to take time to actually, this is old school. We have our devices and you could pull it out and read it. But when you have it in your hand, Philippians 4:16, I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. 15, 20 times a day, like committing it to your memory. So when the enemy come, aka Satan, and he tried to destroy you because he get into our head first. You have listen, these are your weapons. What? Philippians 4:16, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, over and over and over again. And we all be connected to like pray with one another. I get excited about things like that. So I'm gonna get back to this. Okay, so scripture number 1. The second scripture is Psalms 139, verse 14. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, in that my soul knoweth right well. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And this is not the first time, and this is not rocket scientist. When God created us, y'all, like he created us all special. And I'm telling you, like deep in my soul, I am just like yearning to create the culture and the atmosphere and the community of women that know that like when God created you, he created something special. I don't care if you are sitting next to your sister that is in the same business or do the same thing. Like we can all win. Saying it, that sounds great. They say together we go a lot. I'm sorry, let me say it better. There's a quote Christy used to always say, and I don't know I know she got it from somewhere because she does a lot of personal development. Flowers that grow together grow much faster. So you ever see a garden and you ever see single flowers? Like they normally take a little bit longer to grow, but when you see a mixture of a bunch of different flowers, they seem to grow faster together. Okay, and we can do that. If the flowers can do that, we can do this as a people. You just have to believe it, and part of believing in yourself and releasing the self-doubt that you have on the inside is going to help with that. Because I've been there where I walked in a room with powerful women and I thought, yeah, I don't belong in this room. And I felt, I'm not offended, but I felt that I wasn't worthy enough to be in there. But honey, the God that we serve is going to put you in rooms that you probably don't deserve to be in, but that's just what he do. And if he put you there, that's where you're supposed to be. So, releasing this self-doubt is going to help us. Guys, y'all can apply it too if y'all listening, but talk to my ladies right now. Well, I'm talking to whoever's listening, really. Okay. Okay, in our last scripture, excuse me, is Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Why we say verses is one word, one verse. Okay. Before I found thee in the belly, I knew thee. Like God knew us. This is, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but just think about it. Like he knew us before our parents even got together. Like who really wouldn't serve a God like that? That's like, that's, I don't know. I just got stuck for a second. It's just amazing. He knew us before we was even in the belly. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and I ordained thee a prophet unto nations. And again, like this is something that's just stuck in me, and I gotta tell myself I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all and very honest. Like I'm really passionate and excited about this, but I'm so fired up to see like where I am now and like where God is going to take me because of my obedience. Because if y'all know my story, I was the female Jonah running. God said do this, and I'm like, he wasn't talking to me. Like clearly, that's like somebody in your face saying, "Girl, take 2 steps to the left," and you can clearly hear there's only 2 people in the room that they're talking to you, but you sit because you don't want to move 2 steps to the right. But one thing about God, he gonna get you to move whether you want to move or not. If you got to go kicking and screaming, and we want to be people that step up to the plate, and again, like just releasing the self-doubt and knowing that if he called us to it, that he's going to supply us with all of our needs. And again, and this is why we got to consistently feed ourselves over and over and over again. The same way we feed ourselves when we wake up. Most of us wake up, whether you're fasting or not. And when I say fasting, I have a group of women that are doing intermittent fasting. So there come an hour where you're going to eat so that it can nourish your body, right? Same thing in the natural, same thing in the spiritual. You got to consistently feed your spiritual being in order for you to continue to grow and be powerful. Now, could you imagine, like, if you just said, you know what, I'm gonna go 4 or 5 weeks without eating? You're gonna be weak as a whistle, if not dead. Same thing in the natural, same thing in the spiritual. So you may feel amazing right now, Crystal, because you got the word and you reading like I could do all things through Christ that strengthens me. But the moment you take all of this and sit it to the side, right? And day one pass, and day two pass, and day three pass, and spiritually you become weaker and weaker and weaker. And what ends up happening, like you let your guard down, and then all these things start to come into your space, and now you're subject to do anything. That's just my bad definition. But when you are consistently guarded and you have the whole armor on at all times, the enemy can't trick you. But when you stop praying and you stop fasting and you stop reading, when you stop feeding your spirit, right, yourself spiritually, for whatever reason, you start doing other things that is not for you to do. So when you feel this amazing, it's like you got to keep on going. That's just like when you eat healthy, your body feel better. Like, don't get me wrong, we love a good fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, sweet potatoes. It tastes good, but it's not always good for your body. But when you shift that over, when you're willing to be disciplined, right, and you start eating cleaner foods, all of a sudden your skin start to look a little clear. Start drinking your water, right? Your skin look clear. Your stomach tighten up a little bit, right? You feel better. Your heart is stronger. Your mental clarity is clear. If that's yes, your mental clarity, I said it right, it's clear. But one thing I say too, in I say a lot of things out loud. I don't need anybody to hold me accountable, like tell me I know what I have in my heart that I want to do. But it's nice when you build community and you have other people that is running the same race as you, right? Um, Dang, I just lost my train of thought. Jesus, what was I about to say? The old me will stop the video, go back and listen to it. But okay, well, yeah, come back, come back, come back. It's not coming back. It's all good though. It's all good. It'll be back. Maybe tomorrow. Okay, so self doubt minimizes your God given gifts. Think about it. God created us all with phenomenal gifts, gave us purpose. And when we minimize that, and I told y'all, like, I want to go to a level, like, I just want to go higher, not just in this world, but just in God, not just in, let me say that. I'm going to say that better. I'm going to say it. Y'all bear with me. I want to go higher in God. I have a lot of different goals. I have a vision board. I have body goals. I'm working on my side sweep, building my quads, my hamstrings. I have a certain look that I'm going for. But what I don't, that's what, see, look at the God. It came back. That's what I was going to say. This is what a promise I made to myself that I always say. I don't want to give this world more than I give God. And if we don't continue to check ourselves and be careful when we do stop the praying and the fasting and all that other stuff, we kind of forget our purpose and we start to slide to the left. And I'm not saying that it's not going to be imbalanced sometimes, but when you have God over here and the world over here and you leaning over here, right, because you're giving and you're pouring this, that, and the other, this is becoming more and more empty. And I really have a desire to die empty as possible, because he's going to continue to fill us, right? But I have this fear. I just don't want to die full. And I know, like, the purpose and all the things that he told me to do. And I have the smile on my face, or internally, because I know that I know what I got to do. So it's like no excuses. So he's equipping me. Even when I talk about this 21 days of letting go, this is for me. I'm just bringing you guys along that want to come, because I'm like, I've been praying and fasting for like the next level in him, because this is just how when we fulfill that, all these other things, like these material and natural things, he's going to fill that bucket automatically. But what we do sometimes is we try to fill this bucket And I'm gonna just say this bucket, like I'm gonna just say worldly stuff, okay? That don't have anything to do with building His kingdom or doing the work for God. We'll spend a lot of time doing all of this, right? And the whole time, like this is getting empty, it's getting empty. But I tell you what, it's like a 2 for 1. When you do what God had for you to do, He gonna take care of everything, right? And it may not happen the way you want it to happen, nor what He say, my ways are not your ways, right? His thoughts are not your thoughts. So even if His will line up with yours, it's still gonna be in His timing. So, and this is where the prayer and fasting come in, that when we stay connected with Him, because if we stay connected and we know that we are doing all that we know to do, reading the scripture, studying, asking for guidance, asking Him for direction. When we know that we've done our part, all we have is a need for patience and just wait. I always say this, I'll be the one in the back clapping for everybody because I know my turn is coming. But if you don't put that work in, you might be out here like looking for your turn and not knowing if it's coming because you haven't put in the work. Okay. Remember, God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. So all the areas in where you feel, Crystal, that you're not the best speaker, that you're not like, and I'm not just being raw, transparent with y'all. Like these are the things that really boggle my mind. But another thing I know about Crystal is when she is on, she is on. So I know like when I'm doing what I'm supposed to do because I feel unstoppable from the inside out. I'm not talking about like anybody could grow a business, but it's different when you build it on like what on God. Is that makes sense? And I don't mean let me just say this too. I don't want to sound. It's probably gonna sound like this to some people, and I'm nor am I minimizing God and His power. But some people just be like overly spiritual, or whatever. But that's just how hungry I am. I don't want to be connected to anything that is not connected to God. That's just where I am. If God come and take me tomorrow, I want to be ready. I don't want to talk about being ready. With my dad have this quote that he say, I stay ready to keep from getting ready. So if you're not ready, Crystal, you gotta get your stuff lined up. And that's literally what I've been doing. And the more I've been doing, and the more I've been pouring, and the more I've been reading, and the more I've been studying, and the more I've been praying, and the more I've been fasting, I feel a shift on the inside. And when you feel a shift on the inside, when you look in the mirror, you look different. And I'm not talking about eating the clean food. You'll see that too, but I'm talking about the spiritual piece. So, okay. I get excited. All right. So here is our action step. Okay. You're going to write a letter to yourself affirming the gifts God has placed in your hearts and declare that you are letting go of doubt. So, again, God created us all special. The question I have for you is, are you walking in your purpose? And if the answer is yes, girl, keep on keeping on. And if the answer is no, hop in, be ready. Even if the answer is yes, let's ride this last 18 days out of these practices of letting go so that we can shine bright like a diamond together. So those of you that are doing a deal, you could be helpers of one another. For those that may be a little weaker in certain areas. So I'm grateful, y'all. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm ready. If you ready, you ready to lock arms. What do they say? Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll get the link together because I mean what I mean. Like I mean what I mean. Hopefully you, hopefully I mean what I mean. Hopefully I do because I'm saying it. But I am just really I'm honored. I'm grateful. Like I'm fired up. But I'm really proud of myself, and we can all be proud of ourselves for giving your an ear to hear what God is saying to us, and not only that, but also being willing to walk by faith and not by sight. And I'm gonna tell you, like I'm holding my heart right now because every time like that vision flash across my eyes, my heart is beating. But one thing I know for sure is two things for certain. I didn't say that right. It's one thing I know for sure, two things I know for certain. With God by my side, I can't lose. We might mess up a little here, we might mess up a little there, we might trip a little here, we may trip a little there. But as long as you're doing what you know to do, and you keep your blinders on, and you talking to Him, everything is gonna be all right. So I pray that you have the most amazing day ever. If this inspired you in any way or encouraged you, if you got friends, send it to them, because each of us really do need all of us, and all of us really do need each of us. So you have the most amazing day ever, and I will see you tomorrow if it be at the Lord's will.